Namaste, everyone. It's a pure joy to be here with you on this incredibly cold Saturday morning. This is a 1-hour flow rejuvenate class, and many of us, myself, I will speak for myself, have not been maintaining our regular practice. So remind me if I don't do it naturally to tell you lots of modifications or ways to kind of scale your practice back a little bit. We're going to work into our hips this morning. So this week at Sangha time on Thursday evening, we had a spirited conversation about Dharma and karma, mainly karma. And I ended up saying that you can explain karma in one simple, short mantra, which is shut up and be nice. So we laughed a lot about that, came up with this idea that there should be a perennial t-shirt that says shut up and be nice. And somebody also suggested that I make that this coming week's Sankalpa, our resolve, which we commit to on a weekly basis. And I said to somebody, if you dare me, I'll do it. And of course, being the way we are, somebody dared me. So now I've got to work out how I'm going to insult everybody in this week's resolve or Sankalpa and have that make meaning or be useful or fruitful to all of us. So what I mean by shut up and be nice is in those two things, shutting up and being nice, we see these really important yogic universal practices or laws is a better way to say it, called Dharma and Karma. And it is said that if you understand Dharma and Karma, you understand all of Hinduism, which is the religious framework out of which yoga comes. But you can also see Dharma and Karma showing up in other wisdom traditions as well, especially Buddhism, but other ones as well. There is a old story about a sage sitting at a riverbank, and a scorpion comes by and falls into the river. So the sage reaches in, cups up the scorpion, and the scorpion stings him, but the sage sets the scorpion on the riverbank. A couple minutes later, the same scorpion falls into the riverbank again, and once again, the sage reaches into the river, scoops up the scorpion, who stings him again, and then he sets it on the riverbank. And a passerby is noticing all of this and asks the sage, why are you doing this? I mean, obviously, this scorpion is going to continue to sting you, and yet you rescue it each and every single time. And the sage responds by saying, it's the dharma of the scorpion to sting, but it's the dharma of the human being to save. So dharma means the way of things. It means like the overarching universal law that says that the way of the universe is peace, is harmony, is integrity, is justice. And what this story of the sage tells us is that it's our individual dharma to serve that universal dharma. There is a phrase or you could almost call it a commandment in yoga that is called ahimsa paramo dharma. And it means or translates into the paramount dharma, or is ahimsa, which many of you might know means nonviolence. So it says to each of us individually and collectively that we are to conduct ourselves in ways that are nonviolent, that help maintain peace and harmony, and we are to act in ways that uphold universal love for all living creatures. So it's a pretty high commandment. And yet that is what yoga, or this practice or this understanding of these universal law of dharma, asks us to commit to as yogis. And when we don't live within that law of dharma, what happens is that chaos or disharmony or violence or harming of some sort, big or small, will ensue. The other big universal law that I mentioned was karma. And this is one that probably people hear of more often, but is probably more misunderstood. And what karma says is that there is an interconnection to everything. And that every action, including the thoughts that we have in our head, you have to think of those as actions, the act of thinking a thought. Everything from the thoughts we have to the words we speak to the actions we take ripple out and create consequences. So you can think of karma like a chain. Each action, whether it's a thought, a word, or a deed, is linked to another consequence, or a thought, or a word, or a deed, which is linked to another one, which is linked to another one. So you can see how all of this is interconnected. And what our charge, if you will, to do is to notice that chain of how our thoughts lead to our words, which lead to our actions, and then that ripples out and affects everything that happens around us. And the good news, bad news is that once you understand that that is the law of karma, this rippling out and interconnectedness of all actions, we can interrupt it or we can change it. You could say that we have full power to influence our own destiny. And how we influence our own destiny is by going all the way back to the root of our thoughts, okay? And that, my friends, is really, really hard work, okay? And that's where the practice of yoga comes in. Yoga is a discipline that teaches us, if you will, how to cultivate right thought, which leads to right speech, which leads to right action, which culminates or comes back to us in the form of things being harmonious, things being in accordance with the dharmic way of things, meaning peaceful and just and in harmony. So this idea of dharma asks us to, and karma, asks us to do two things. First, to shut up, to get quiet, to go inside and to do this really, really hard work of noticing our thoughts. And when we notice a thought that is harmful to ourselves or to others, we practice interrupting it. And we will have to practice that for a long, long time, because for a long, long time, we've been thinking harmful thoughts. Not so many of us have been thinking big, huge, harmful thoughts, because we'd be in jail if we had. But it's more the small, little harmful thoughts, beginning with things like saying to yourself when you do something silly, "I'm so stupid," okay? So as we start to shut up and go inside and pay attention and start to interrupt through awareness and acknowledgement that we are, in fact, cultivating harmful thoughts or selfish thoughts, thoughts that lead to us only thinking about what is best for us and not taking the whole dharmic picture into play. As we start to work on that part of ourselves, we stop or we cease this part of the chain that is putting more karma out into the world that will come back to create disharmony in our own lives, but also the lives of all others. Okay? When we go inside, we also meet another part of ourselves, not just this part that is ruminating on harmful thoughts, but we also meet the part of us that is known as the mind of God. Okay? Cynthia Bourgeot, who is a beautiful wisdom teacher, says it a little different, which I love. She says we also, when we go inside and get quiet, we meet the heart of God. And that essence is within all of us as well, because that is one of the universal perennial truths, that all of us contain this spark of the divine. So when we get quiet, when we go inside, we meet our heart of God inside of us. And then this idea of being nice or being good flows out of us naturally, because this spark of the divine, this essence of us, is naturally good. It is naturally aligned with Dharma. So I hope in that explanation you see how Dharma and karma play a really important, integral role with one another. And when we uphold what Dharma is and go mindfully through our day, practicing remembering to be in harmony with the way of things, and to tap into what is already in us, this natural goodness, this heart of God or heart of the divine, we will begin to act in accordance with the laws of karma and dharma. And as more and more and more of us do that, we ripple out, and we, in fact, is this word I just want to use because of the pandemic, we become contagious. Our way of being influences that, the whole way of being. So I offer that to you, and just to say right before we practice in this very love-centered way towards you and towards myself and towards all beings, let's shut up and be nice, okay? So namaste to you, and we will begin to practice. I am going to put all of you on mute, and since I always have so much trouble with this, maybe you could reach forward and mute yourself if you're not already, and then go onto your mat and lie down on your back, please. Okay. Once you get on your back, just bend your knees so the bottoms of your feet are on the floor. And then heel toe your feet apart, wider than your hips, almost perhaps to the width of your mat. And just pause there, let your arms be alongside your body. Turn your palms up. And then let your knees wag from side to side. Let them both wag over to the right and then both over to the left. Don't make it a big, fast movement. Just let it start to feel like you're starting to oil can your hips. Maybe you feel some stickiness or some resistance in there, and just notice that and move mindfully through it. When we come onto our yoga mat to move, what we are doing is we're kind of stirring up these age-old patterns of thinking and being. We're stirring the pot, so to speak, so that we can release what doesn't belong anymore and kind of stir up our essential goodness. All right, come back to the middle and then let your two knees come together towards the center of your mat. Sort of making a triangle shape between where your knees and your feet and the floor meet. Then close your eyes here, soften your jaw, let all the muscles around your eyes soften as well. Take your attention to your breath now, and as you let your next breath come in through your nose, feel it go all the way down into your belly so that your belly really puffs up, gets bigger and fuller. And then let the exhale just happen naturally and the belly decrease in size. And let that take the breath out of you before the next one arrives. Okay, keep that breath going, that Ujjayi pranayam. Nice even breath, oceanic sound to it. A breath that comes and goes in even cadence. And then open your eyes if they're not. Heel toe your feet closer together. Keep your left foot on the mat and just draw your right thigh up towards your belly. Wrap your hands around your shins here. And you can flex and point your right foot a few times. And then you can just keep doing this, or you can extend your right leg up towards the ceiling. Wrap your hands around the back of your right thigh. Just feel the extension here. And bring your right foot back down onto your mat and draw your left thigh into your body. Wrap around your shin, hug in a bit, and flex and point your left foot. Feel a little bit of a space between your low back and the mat underneath you. And then extend your left leg, point and flex a few more times. And then bend your left knee, pull both thighs into the belly now. Take your hands around the backs of your thighs and rock and roll a few times, eventually coming up to a seated position and transitioning right over into tabletop position. Hands and knees on the mat, hands settled right underneath your shoulders with your fingers spread wide, your hips soaring right over your knees, and some big circles now, big or little, rotating around, alternating your weight between your hands and your knees, going both directions, and eventually starting to undulate more, making the sides uneven, just a kind of a bobbing and a weaving, and undulating that starts to wake Shakti in the body. That energy that ascends and brings us in to our higher state. Okay, come back to stillness. Lean over into your left knee more so you can bring your right foot forward and stack it out in front of you, and then climb your hands up onto your right thigh. Have your shoulders right over your hips to begin with here, and then to your degree, start to bring yourself forward so that you come more into a lunge shape. Okay. Take your hands down by your right foot, return yourself to tabletop, and then bring your left foot forward. Hands come to the top of the left thigh, just above the knee. You start upright here, and then when you exhale, come into a lunge shape. Okay. And then this time, bring your hands down and step your right foot up to your left one and come into your first Uttanasana, forward fold. Your knees can stay bent generously here for this first one, so your belly and your thighs touch each other. Allow your head to hang straight down, crown of the head towards the mat. Keep your fingertips pressed into the ground here. So you kind of are pressing away from the ground through your fingers and sending your sit bones a little bit higher towards the sky. And you'll feel a nice stretch starting to happen, especially across the back of the legs. Now walk your hands up the fronts of your legs, coming up into Tadasana with your arms alongside your body. Inhale, sweep your arms up over your head. Exhale your hands down in front of your heart center. Inhale your hands by your side for Tadasana. And then as you exhale, bring your hands back to your heart center. Sweep your arms high overhead, breathe in. Forward fold and breathe out. Come into a halfway lift. Maybe this time your fingers come to your shins. And then bend your knees, set your palms down, and step back to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, lower your knees. Take your chest and your chin down between your hands for 8-point pose. Slide forward on your belly. Flip your feet so the top of your foot is on the floor. Inhale, come up into Bhujangasana. Exhale, bring your chin and your chest down towards the ground. Inhale, press up. And exhale, lower down. One more Bhujangasana. Come down, curl your toes, lift into tabletop, and go all the way to downward facing dog. Right away, walk forward to the top of your mat and fold into yourself as you exhale. Rise all the way up on your inhale, sweeping your arms high up over your head to high mountain. Bring your hands to your heart as you exhale. Release your arms to your side and breathe in. Go right back to your heart center and exhale. Inhale, big sweep, high mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Step your right foot back this time and lower your right knee down to the ground. You can stay right here, pressing your fingers into the ground. Same thing we did at the beginning. And pressing away from the ground through your fingertips. They can be on a block too if that's not happening. Okay. Flip the back foot. Find a nice deeper lunge than the first one. Good. And then bring your hands onto the ground. Curl your right toes. Go to downward facing dog. Pull out long to plank pose. From here, either lower all the way to the belly or bring your knees down and come into 8-point pose. Slide forward and into Bhujangasana and make your way to downward facing dog. Walking forward as you breathe in, finish it with a forward fold at the top of your mat. One more sweep all the way up here to high mountain. This time we'll go right back down, forward fold, and exhale. Step back with your left foot. Lower your knee. Fingers can be on two blocks here or pressed into the ground. And then frame your right foot, curl your left toes under, go to downward facing dog. In down dog, pull out long to plank, knees, chest, chin, or lower down to your belly or through chaturanga. Come in to Bhujangasana and make your way to downward facing dog. Stay here for 3 full breaths in downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Same idea of sending your sit bones up and apart as you move your heels down towards your mat. Spread wide through your shoulder blades. Send energy down both arms evenly and press your palms and your 10 fingertips into the ground. Now step your 2 feet together. Lift your right leg towards the sky. Step your right foot forward. Turn your back heel down and come up into Virabhadrasana 1. So Warrior 1 includes having both hips facing the front of your mat. The left will always stay on this side, will stay a little behind the right, but the idea is drawing it around to face the front of your mat. The right knee bends. The back foot and the front foot are evenly pressed into the ground. Arms extend alongside your head. Draw the shoulders down towards your waist. Okay, open it up to Warrior 2 now. Right hand forward, left arm back. Okay? Now the left hip opens up a bit, but not all the way. Let the left hip continue to be turned towards the front edge of your mat. The belly and shoulders are more open to the side of your mat here. Nice, everyone. Turn your right palm up, tip it back to Peaceful Warrior, and then windmill down to the ground. Step back to Downward Facing Dog. Move through your vinyasa, maybe by pulling out to plank, knees up or down, lower. Into your back bend, Bhujangasana, or Upward Facing Dog, and then move it to Downward Facing Dog. Inhale your left leg towards the sky. Step your left foot forward, ground your back heel, press into both legs, come up into Warrior 1. Find the shape and then be the shape. Okay? On this side, the right hip is moving towards the front of the mat, but understanding that there's asymmetry in the body. And we work with that asymmetry, not against it. Okay? Beautiful. Float your arms open to Virabhadrasana 2. Turn your left palm up, tip it back into Peaceful Warrior. Nice long stretch on the left side of the body here. And then exhale, windmill your hands down. Move through down dog, into plank, lowering the way you want to lower. Finding your back bend, which is a sip of breath in. Moving to Downward Facing Dog, which is always an exhale out. Take a deep breath in here. Open your mouth and exhale it out. One more breath in and exhale it out. On your inhale, your right leg lifts. Step forward between your hands, ground your left heel, rise to warrior one. Open to warrior two. Tip back to peaceful. Windmill down to your mat. Listen, take a simple twist. Right arm floats up. Look at your right fingers. Bring your right hand down. Move right into plank or tabletop and lower down. Back bend, inhale. Down dog, exhale. Lift your left leg, inhale. Step forward. Ground your right heel. Warrior one is a breath in. Warrior two is a breath out. Tipping back, peaceful, inhale. Exhale all the way down to your mat. Inhale, lift your left arm, look at it, simple twist. Bring your hand down. Step back and use a whole exhale to lower. Inhale to your back bend. Adho Mukha Svanasana. So we'll do dancing warrior again on both sides, and I'm just going to cue as little as possible so you can drop into the dance. Lift your right leg. Step forward. Warrior one. Warrior two. Peaceful warrior. Windmill down. Right arm lifts. Make your way from plank to chaturanga or all the way down. Move it into up dog. Make your way to downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Step forward. Rise to warrior one. Open to warrior two. Tip back to peaceful. Circle your arms to your mat. Lift your left arm to the sky. And bring it down, and this time step your right foot forward to the top of your mat, and you'll be in a forward fold. Heel toe your feet close together, maybe touching, but they don't have to be. Okay? Rise into Utkatasana. Inhale, come up. Bending your knees, drawing your hips back. Belly in, arms up alongside your head. Stand up, open it into a tiny back bend, and then windmill or forward fold all the way down. Step your left foot to the back of your mat. Rise to warrior one. Open it to two. Draw your right leg straight. Reach your right arm forward and fold yourself into Uttiti Trikonasana, triangle pose. So as your right hand comes down, maybe it finds the block here. Same thing, your fingers press into the ground, so there is a rebounding action of where you're grounding down through your feet and sort of rebounding with your right arm up and away from the earth. This brings beautiful expansion into the body. Take one more breath here. And then bend your right knee, return to warrior two. Tip it back into peaceful. And move right into side angle now. So the right arm can come down to the right thigh, or it can come all the way back down to your block or all the way to the floor. Look back. Keep your left arm on your left thigh for now. Look back over your left shoulder a bit and see what that does with the body. It draws the backside underneath you a bit. And then from here, draw the left arm alongside your left ear. Let your left arm wave down in front of your face. Turn your back heel, the left one, up to the sky. Simple twist, right arm goes up towards the sky, look at it. And then bring your right arm down and step your left foot forward, coming into a forward fold at the top of your mat. Now step your right foot back. On your inhale, rise to Warrior One. Open it to Warrior Two. Straighten your left leg. Reach forward towards the top of your mat. When you can't go any further, let the left arm drift down towards your block or your mat. Right arm extends up. If you turn, and perhaps look up at your right fingertips. It might draw the center of your body a little bit more underneath you. Bending into your left leg, return to Warrior Two. Float your left arm up and back for Peaceful Warrior. And turn it into side angle on this side. Left arm comes to your left thigh or down to your block. Keep your right arm laying on your right thigh for now. Look back over your right shoulder. Notice how you bring some alignment into the whole body. And then the right arm moves to where it resides in this shape, alongside your right ear. Press into the right foot just as much as you're weighting down into the left one. And then wave your right arm in front of your face. Turn it into a lunge, which turns into a simple twist with the left arm lifting. Okay? And from here, bring your left arm down. Vinyasa, or go right to downward facing dog. Okay, now we work into our hips even more, okay? From downward facing dog, lift your right leg towards the sky. Step your right foot forward. Lower your left knee here, okay? Flip your back foot so the top of your foot is on the ground, okay? So some of us will stay right here and work into this place. Others might want to heel toe their right foot towards the right side of their mat. Bring their arms inside their right foot and come down onto your elbows for lizard pose. You could also shorten that distance by coming down onto your block, okay? So it's kind of like less intense, medium intense, full intensity, okay? Just stay here for a few moments, breathing into the intensity. Good. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, shoulder distance apart here. Come up, all right? And then move your right hand towards the outside edge of your mat. Curl your back toes under. You're just gonna move into pigeon shape here. So as you lift up, you slide your right shin and leg underneath you, setting up for pigeon, okay? So move your left leg back. First, find this upright pigeon shape. And then descend. Come forward. Again, you can pause anywhere that feels like you're working right at your edge, but not beyond it. Okay? Maybe your head comes down onto your block.
Call from Walgreens. Call from Walgreens.
What is that?
It's me.
Well, come up out of pigeon. This is a tricky transition. You're just going to curl your back toes under, press your hands into the mat. You're coming back into a lunge, so you've got to switch that right foot over by your right hand. Okay. Then from here, step your back foot up into pyramid pose. So you're going to press into your right foot. Plant your left foot, not way behind you, but a shorter stance and on two separate railroad tracks. And fold in here. Keep drawing the right hip up and back, placing your belly and your chest right over your right leg. Feel as though you are stubbing your back heel, your left one, down towards the back of your mat. Right away, you'll feel that in your right leg. Okay, press into your fingertips, come up. You're gonna bend your right knee and let your left leg come forward and through and out in front of you as you sit down. Another tricky transition. Beautiful. Let your right ankle cross over in a figure 4 shape, right over above your left knee here. Place your hands behind you. So you can stay right here, just letting the right knee move down towards the floor. You could take a block and place it underneath the right knee and work into that right inner hip and thigh this way. Or you can bend your left knee and move your left heel towards your left hip bone. You can stay here for a few moments. Then you can press into your hands, slide your hips forward. And this is the way to come into the deepest expression. Your right knee is moving towards the front of your mat. This is a nice juicy hip opener. So go with it. One more moment here. Okay, take your right foot off your left leg. Right? Place both feet on the ground. Reach your arms forward. A little bit of a core work here. Just lower down as slow as you can onto your back. Once you're all the way down, hug both thighs into your belly. Wrap your hands around the backs of your shins, or backs of your thighs. Now start to rock and roll again. And about the second or third time, come all the way up into a malasana. So you're going to land on your feet. You can place your hands down first, and then heel toe your feet wider. I'm going to turn
towards you so you can see where we're going next. So your feet are going to come wide, even wider than your hips, okay? Just slightly turn your toes outward. Bring your left hand to your right ankle, your right hand to your right knee, and then take your booty down towards the ground so you're in a malasana shape. And then just press into your right thigh with your right hand. And then both hands go over to the left leg and do the same thing. You're pressing on your left inner thigh and holding your left ankle. Then go both directions one more time. It's not pretty, but it's effective. Once more back on the left side. And then place your hands out in front of you, heel toe your feet back closer together. And just fold over your thighs for a couple breaths here. My right leg feels longer than my left one right now, so. All right, step your right foot to the back of your mat, and we'll come into the lunge. Bring your right knee down, flip your foot so the top of your foot's on the ground, okay? Then we can stay right here in this form of a lunge, or you can heel toe your left foot out to the side, and then bring your elbows down onto a block, or bring your forearms down onto the floor. So, high, middle, and low. Soften into this here. Don't strive for something, surrender into something. Let each breath allow a new shape to emerge. Okay, come back onto your hands. Curl your back toes under, okay? And move it into pigeon, lift your right knee, and then move it into pigeon shape with your left shin edging its way towards the front of your mat. How much or how little your shin squares with the front of your mat really depends more on body shape than anything else. So allow the right leg to drag back, stay upright for a breath, and then begin to descend. Belly, chest, shoulders, come forward. See if you can ascertain whether you are staying away from your mat with your upper body because you need to or because you always have. And how through letting go and relinquishing can you actually find a deeper expression of pigeon. Sometimes it's because of the way our body is right now. Sometimes we don't take the deepest expression because of the way our mind is, because of our habit to always stop or stay in a certain place. Okay. Lift back up onto your hands. Now we have that tricky transition. Hands come right back under shoulders. Right toes curl under. You're going back into a lunge. So you move your left foot over by your left hand. Okay. And then from here, step the right foot up so you're coming into pyramid pose. The right foot steps up, both heels plant down, and you draw your left hip back, folding over your left thigh. Excuse me. Another awkward transition here. Lift the upper body up some. You sort of bend into your left knee so you can string your right leg forward and through and out in front of you. And then you sit down. Okay? Once you're here, make the figure 4 with the left ankle crossing over the right leg just above the knee. Here's a beautiful place to stay, letting the weight draw the left knee down, or hands propped behind you. You bend your right knee, come into the middle way here, we'll call it. Or after some time, perhaps you shimmy your sit bones closer to your right ankle. Good. One more moment here. And uncross your left ankle. Place both feet out in front of you. Extend your arms out in front of you. And lower all the way down. Navel to spine. Nice integrity through the whole upper body as you come all the way down onto the ground. Hug your thighs up towards your belly. Wrap your arms around your shins. Hug in. And then one more rock and roll, eventually coming all the way forward into a forward fold. So lift up, fold over. And then once more, step your feet at least as wide as your mat. I'll turn one more time. Heels slightly in, toes out. Take both hands over to your left leg to start with. Left hand just above the knee, more on the inside. Right hand over by your ankle. And then it's like you're pressing away from your left leg. Switch to both hands being on your right leg. Right hand by your right knee, left hand by your right ankle. Press away from your right leg. Go back to the first side. Both hands on the left leg. Upper body moving away from the left side. And then back to the second side. And then bring your hands to the center. Step your feet closer together. Be in a forward fold. Cross one ankle behind the other. Doesn't matter which. Sit down in Sukhasana. Easy seat. Okay. And then in Sukhasana, extend your right leg forward. Cross your left foot over the top of your right leg. Sit up nice and tall here. Make this really important to be upright in your upper body, not this, okay? And then left hand comes behind you, right arm extends. Inhale right here. Exhale into the twist. So your right elbow can come outside your left leg or wrap like this. Redo the tall, long spine. And from that place, rotate little deeper into the twist. And then undo the twist, come back to center, extend your left leg. Right away to the other side, cross your right foot over by your left outer thigh. Left arm lifts, right arm is somewhere behind you. Inhale, tall, tall, straight spine. Exhale, into the twist. Close your eyes and see your spine from your sit bones to the crown of your head, extending tall and bright and luminous. And then back to the center, extend both legs out in front of you. Inhale, both arms over your head. Come into Paschimottanasana, forward fold. So you can reach forward, keeping the spine long at first here. Maybe your hands reach the outer edges of a block. And then you keep pulling back on that block, which draws length into your spine. It feels wonderful. Intense, but wonderful. Soften where you need to soften. And now you can round into it for the last few breaths. Just let go of the block if you had your hands on it. Just let some curve come into your spine. And then start to lift up. Bring your hands to the tops of your shins, eventually to your thighs. Bend both your knees once more. And let's go down together, exhaling, nice, long, slow breath out. When you get all the way down, sweep your arms over your head. Let your legs get long. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale it out your mouth. Bring your arms down next to you, but away from your side body. Turn your palms up. For one breath, press your low back into the floor. Just feel that, and then exhale. Let your low back lift back up into its natural curve away from the floor. Allow your shoulders to get heavy. Close your eyes if you haven't, and go into Shavasana. And welcome the state of Samadhi, the state of clear seeing, the state where you can see that your Dharma is to be peaceful and an expression of universal love. start to deepen your breath already if you are ready to move on. You want to stay here and bask longer in this beautiful place of rest and connection. By all means, do so. If you're ready to journey on with your day, then roll onto the right side of your body. Hug your knees up towards your belly. And then use your hands to press yourself up into Sukhasana again. From here, take your right hand and hold it up, just like you're showing your palm to the screen out in front of you, to each other. And then the other hand, just kind of do the opposite. Let the palm show forward, but turn your fingers down. This is Abhaya Mudra, the mudra of non-harming. Okay? Close your eyes. And honor your dharmic commitment to be peace. And acknowledge the divinity inside of you that allows you to act from the heart of God. Gather your palms together in front of your heart space. Turn your gaze down towards the tops of your fingers. Acknowledge your beautiful, beautiful self. Acknowledge the other beautiful yogis gathered here today. And acknowledge the beauty that exists within everyone. The love and light inside of me honors and sees the love and light inside each of you. Namaste.